Hello there, Ray here. Another 1.14 snapshot is out. This is 19W4A. With this snapshot, they have introduced another function to one of the utility blocks that they have added earlier, as well as did a bunch of fixes to do with 1.14. I'll be going over all the changes today. Remember, if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do that. Stonecutters can now be crafted as well as used in survival. The way they craft up a stonecutter is that you have 3 stone blocks with 1 ingot above it, and this will produce 1 stonecutter. You also can find it in the Decoration tab at the very bottom in the Creative menu. The way that you use the Stonecutter is you right-click on it, and this will go into the GUI, and then you can put items over here that can be made into slabs, stairs, and other variations that can be done with stone. So I'll go ahead and I'll just shift-click in some cobblestone, and you can see now we have a selection here, so we can choose between slabs, cobble stairs, and even cobble walls. And then if you shift-click the outcome of the Stonecutter, it will turn the entire stack into an entire stack of cobble walls. It'll also make a very interesting noise. Noise is kind of like a saw noise. Let's listen to that again. I also heard like a cracking of a block at the end of it. Now, not only can it just do slabs and stairs, it can also convert stuff such as go directly from stone all the way to stone brick walls. So it can do like 2 steps at a time. So normally you'd have to craft this into stone bricks and then turn those stone bricks into like a stone wall. You can also see we can go directly into some chiseled blocks as well. So it makes it really nice to do multiple different crafting with a single click. So if I go ahead and choose a wall and just shift click all the walls, you can see I just converted all those stone directly into stone brick walls and just avoided all the extra crafting. Now currently it doesn't work with smooth stone, as you see I put it in there. Even if I try shift clicking in there, it won't go in there, but you can still go ahead and craft smooth stone slabs in the crafting table like this. It also seems to be a bug to do with normal crafting. Like if I go ahead and click on these mossy slabs, you see that it just puts in 1 block. Kind of thinks it's something like the Stonecutter over here. What it should do is spread them all the way across. So if I just go ahead and spread these across, you see it does work, but for some reason it doesn't work when I click there. And you can still do the old crafting, such I can make these chiseled stone bricks just by putting 2 stone bricks on top of each other instead of using the Stonecutter over here. So Stonecutter is pretty much just giving you 64 of whatever you click on. So if you have 64 over here and you click on some walls, it's going to give you 64 walls. You do the same thing with stairs. You click on them, you get 64 stairs. And if you have 64 blocks in here and you click on slabs, you're going to get twice as many. So the way that this compares to like the crafting table, if you take these 64 and then you would shift click them, you see that I come up with almost 2 stacks with a little bit extra. And if you do this with stairs, you see that we only end up with 40 and some extra. And if I convert these over into stone bricks and then convert those into walls, you see I'm going to end up with 60 and some extra. So Stonecutter is really useful, especially in stairs. You also gain a little bit with the stone walls. And the stone slabs, you also just gain a little bit as well. This is very useful for items such as bricks, which use clay, which is a non-renewable resource in Minecraft. So you want to really make sure you get the most out of them when you're converting them into stairs. So definitely be sure to use the new Stonecutter when making stairs out of bricks. So Stonecutter can work with all types of stone, as well as prismarine, bricks, purple blocks, nether bricks, quartz, endstone bricks, sandstone, the 1.8 stone bricks, but it doesn't work with any types of wood. So if I click wood in there, you see there's no outcome. It also doesn't work with the petrified wood, which also kind of acts like a stone slab. Now, Stonecutter isn't a block entity, meaning it doesn't keep whatever is inside of it. So if I would put some stone in here and then I would leave, it's not going to keep it inside of any type of inventory on here. It will automatically put it back inside my hotbar down here. Similar to that, like of a crafting table, you put something into it, then you leave it, it's just going to put it back inside your inventory. This means it doesn't work with like hoppers or hoppers trying to pull stuff out. None of that will work. But it does mean that it should be able to be pushed as well as pulled. And it looks like that is so. Similar to that, like a crafting table. Now, do you think with this big blade that's rotating on top of it that if you stood on top of this in survival, you take some damage? But no, you don't. But that would be kind of a cool way to make some kind of mob trap if that would do some damage to mobs. Now, you can no longer stick levers on top as well as the sides of the Stonecutter, but you can still stick levers on the bottom if you want to. Similar to that of like a bottom slab. They also fixed quite a few bugs in the snapshot, some of which we just ran into during our Twitch stream last night. One of them was that if you would accidentally put in the wrong entity to do with summoning commands, it would summon in a pig. We ended up having a zombie riding a pig riding a chicken instead of just having a zombie riding a chicken. They also fixed a bug to do with add entity type not autofilling. This was a problem we also had during the stream, so we thought commands were broken in some way. They fixed some bugs to do with campfires. Some pixels were missing. Also, when the campfire was unlit, it was still allowing players to get burned, and players are also getting burned when they're just close to it, not necessarily on top of it. They also fixed a bug to do with composters. You guys showed me, I was asking if it's possible to make a composter stay at level 7 without it automatically going up to level 8. And you guys point out that you can go ahead and push a composter while it's still at 7 and then it'll freeze this way. But they said they have fixed this, so let's go ahead. It's currently at 6 and we'll upgrade it to 7 and then we'll move it. And yeah, it still converts over. So I think they need to make an official way to keep it at level 7. Otherwise, it seems that you're not going to have a signal strength of 7. You only have to deal with 6 or 8, which removes some of the nice uses that composters could have in the future of redstone. Something I forgot to mention in the previous snapshot is that composters will naturally generate with villages. They'll be sitting here similar to this one by a farmland, but maybe in the future villagers will be able to interact with this and automatically fill up their own composter. Also fix a bug to do with smokers as well as blast furnace. When clicking over here would reset the progress of over here. And they did fix a bug to do with cartographer tables where putting a map inside of it and then locking it will allow you to actually duplicate the map, as well as fix a problem that scaffolding wasn't showing up on maps. They also made some changes from the initial scaffolding. So normally you could just click on the bottom and you just keep stacking them up, and then if you want to click to the side, you kind of click to the side. You can still stack them upwards just by clicking on the bottom. But now when you want to like go off to the side, if you just click to the side, it's going to continue to stack them above. If you click above, they can do the same thing. You kind of have to aim downwards in this direction. This will put it over there. This will put it over there. That's how you can put them onto the side. Now, when it comes to actually working with these, you see that they changed them so that there is not only a top platform, but also a bottom platform for the scaffoldings that go off to the side. Now, once you're on these, you can do the same kind of thing. You can kind of click to the bottom in this direction, and you can place more over here. So another thing that they changed is that you can no longer place scaffoldings directly inside of entities. You have to make sure that they don't collide with anything. So you can't place them like directly where you're standing. And this kind of changed up the whole idea about being able to place them in different directions. So if you're on here like a ledge and you want to place them above, you have to hold down shift and then click on top of it, and that'll place it upwards. You gotta make sure you're not in the actual block that you're trying to place it. And then from here, you can always click up, as well as you can click off to the sides if you want to build to the sides. So it's a little bit strange, but once you get the hang of the new rules, you should be able to build a scaffolding similar to that when they released it. They fixed a bug to do with when putting a book in here and trying to take it out. If you take it out, when your inventory was full, it would just delete the book. Something I showed in the snapshot where they introduced this. They also said that they have improved the collision code, which should improve the performance with entities colliding with different things. Bye-bye!